Today on the Knitworthy podcast, knitting
and more about Project Craft. Stay tuned.
I'm excited. Are you? Let's do this. Hello, and welcome to the Knitworthy podcast. Mom, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Do you know it's only been, hasn't it even been a week?
It's been a week.
It has been a week. It just took me a while to get the other one posted.
We had technical difficulties.
On
many different levels.
Yes, what a shocker.
I know.
But you know what?
What?
I am wearing knitting today.
I'm so glad. What are you wearing?
And I spent like 5 minutes trying to remember what pattern it was. I thought it was called stripy mitts, but I didn't see anything in there called stripy mitts. But I'm pretty sure this is the alpaca yarn that I got from Liz at Whirlwind Ranch.
Ooh.
She does dyeing, and isn't it beautiful?
It is beautiful, and she owns her own alpaca.
She has, Liz has many alpacas.
Yes.
Yes, she does. And
Alpacae? I mean, what is
the plural?
a flock of alpacas?
Is it a flock?
I have no idea.
A herd?
We are looking that up, and that's going in the show notes.
A bevy?
Bevy.
Yeah, so I just thought I would wear these today because I spied them. And you don't really need to wear knitting, but you just see something, go, oh, I want to wear that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's what I was doing with these.
Yay.
So that's what I'm doing. Are you wearing knitting today?
I am not even wearing knitted socks today. Oh, yes.
Once more, this is such a beautiful view, but this is the lovely knitted sock. I can't get a good angle of it again.
That's okay.
But I love, love, love it.
That's the sock yarn from the Loopy U in
Tell
their
us.
seasonings colorway, or seasonings yarn base. And it is the Tickety Boo colorway, which I thought was very appropriate for you.
Perfect.
Yes.
And this is one of the 3 pairs of socks that Brianne knit me for Christmas.
Yes.
I feel a little bit guilty.
Why?
Well, because I got 3 pairs and you got none.
Well, that's okay. If I wanted to knit 3 pairs of socks for myself, I would.
Okay.
So there.
Right. So I'm wearing knitting for both of us. How about that?
Right. I love it. That's perfect. So, let's talk about what we're knitting on.
Yeah, let's do that. But first, just so people know kind of what we're doing, this is going to be hopefully a shorter podcast, but we wanted to follow up on last week's podcast where we introduced Project Craft.
Yes.
But we thought that we needed a little further follow-up to kind of get people enthused and excited about it.
Help ease people into it.
Yeah.
Get people some more information, and especially as we start our journals.
Yes.
To be able to see what it is that we're doing. Because I think that that perhaps people are a little bit intimidated.
I think they are. And so we want to kind of break it down and...
Break it down.
You busted a move, didn't you?
Word.
And so really, I just asked Brianne if we could go ahead and podcast, which means we'll catch you up on what we did this last week.
Yeah.
But we're going to spend the last part of the podcast doing a little bit more information gathering for Project Craft.
Yes.
So that's what we're about today.
That's right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you want to go on with what happened this last week for you, knitting wise or spinning wise? What busied your hands?
I worked on my crazy socks just a little bit, just to put a couple rows on that. Nothing really very exciting, so I'm not even going to show that, but I will show you that I showed. I didn't do that. I started. That was really bad.
That should probably be edited, but I'm not going to.
Oh, Lordy. You're going red for me. That's all I have to say. I was getting my SHs in there.
Did I just hear that?
I think you did. I started the Shaylin shawl.
Oh, will I be able to recover?
You will. Deep breaths. We're professionals, remember that?
Oh, yeah. That's it. That's what we are.
Totally and utterly professionals.
Oh
gosh.
That's what we're known for.
Yeah, absolutely. In all areas of our podcasting, we are known as professionals.
Yep. That's us.
All right. So anyways,
Okay.
I started the Shaylin shawl, and I will put it this way because it's worked from the top down. And so here's what it looks like right now. You are just not going to be able to get over this, are you?
I'm going to try really hard.
Okay. All right.
Now, is that a full-size shawl, a shawlette?
It is a full-size shawl. Do we need to start over?
I know. I'll be fine.
Wow.
I'm okay.
Tears even.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
You know, laughing is so good for you.
It is so good for you.
I just added a year to my life right there.
I'm so glad.
I should say you added a year to my life.
Yes.
Okay, so what kind of a shawl is it?
It is a, I'm not sure if it's a full shawl or if it's a shawlette. However, it's one of those.
Well, if you're on the bind off row, it's a shawlette.
Yes. This is it. I'm going to be wearing it right here. It's a cap sleeve is what it is right now.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. No, but I'm using this beautiful Madeline Tosh.
It is gorgeous.
Pashmina in the Byzantine colorway.
Okay. I've heard it's quite soft. It is.
It is.
Yeah.
This
but
is
not fuzzy soft like
No.
Alpaca yarn has a halo and all that. It's not that kind of fuzzy. It feels, what would you say, silky?
Well, yes, it's a 75% merino, 15% silk, 10% cashmere. Sport weights 360 yards. So it's quite luxurious.
Yes,
I
it
believe.
is.
You want to feel it?
And where did you get it?
I got it at the Loopy U in the Spring Fling.
The color is gorgeous.
Thank you. I got this in 2011. And it has been sitting in my stash. This is one of the ones.
It's time to use it.
I know. This is one of my skeins that I was saving for the Queen. When the Queen came, I was going to bust it out and be like, look what I've got. Would you like to knit with some?
She'd probably knit with you. And
She
have
would.
tea.
Yes.
And she'd say tickety boo and things like that.
And scones, as they say it.
they say scones.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Really?
I don't think that we call it scones.
We do.
Yes, but I've heard in all of my, vast watching of things like Poirot and Midsummer Murders on Netflix.
Don't we do a correction too?
What?
From last week, your bit of Anglophile information that you were talking about the one and only Kathy, and apparently
there is more than one Kathy in England.
we have it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, don't call her a horse.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
All right.
But yeah, she
Kathy's our
clarified
friend.
there really is more than one Kathy.
She's one of 3 in her knitting group alone. And so there's got to be a lot of Kathys in England, a lot of Catherines.
But she will always be our Kathy.
Yes, she will.
Right.
Of course she will.
The one and only our Kathy.
The one, yes.
So we're just, whenever we refer to her, we're going to say she's our Kathy.
That's right, our Kathy.
Which will
There you
delineate
go.
her from any other faux Kathys.
Well, they're real Kathys too.
Oh, okay.
It's just they're just not ours.
Okay.
Yeah,
So she's our Kathy.
we've now claimed you in the name of France. Oh wait, no. In the name of the Knitworthy podcast.
Knitworthy podcast you can do.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we can say it in for America either. We can't really speak for everyone.
I like to speak for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I speak a lot
Why
of
are we
things.
tangenty today, aren't we?
We are tangenty. My goodness. So in any case, this was I was at the beauty parlor at my grandma's salon for an hour and got this knitted up while I was there, and so
I think you're dating yourself with beauty parlor.
I am. Well, I think of great grandma Winans when I
She always said
think of the beauty parlor. And so, I know it's a salon and they call it a salon, but, in my head, I always think of my great grandma with, the foam curlers in her hair every night.
Oh, yeah.
Just maybe like one right here.
One curler.
Because that's going to make all the difference.
Yeah, she had one spot she was trying to work with right here.
So that's the only really exciting thing that I've worked on.
It is really, aside from my goofiness, that is a gorgeous yarn.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm excited to see, especially after it gets washed, how it blooms and how soft it gets, because you know, it's one thing to work with a yarn you know, just out of the skein.
Yes.
But then once it actually gets washed and blocked, and you get to actually see what the yarn is like, I mean, I may fall in love with it and never knit with anything else ever again.
I believe it.
You've heard it here first.
I was thinking that color is perfect for me.
It really, it
really is, isn't it?
It really is perfect for you.
If it wasn't your yarn, it'd be perfect for me.
I've heard that said a lot, that a lot of my yarn is perfect for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're good at picking for me.
I am. Let's see. What are you working on?
Well, this is it for this week.
Okay.
Because honestly, most of my week was doing fun things for Project Craft.
Yes.
And so I invested time in putting some mileage on this sock, which is part of my first challenge.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Which is making goals?
Making goals.
Okay.
And I decided if I'm going to write down a goal, let's get started and make some progress. So this is one of my goals.
Let's get moving on those goals, people. We
Cracking.
just started this.
It's 5
Come on
minutes,
now.
5 minutes old. Is anything finished yet? Don't feel any pressure though. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And you know, I'm really loving the fact that it kind of releases me from feeling like I've got to like do yards of knitting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I do a few stripes and that's enough.
Are you still keeping up with your one stripe a day goal? No.
But when I miss a few days, I try and do extra stripes, because I think I would have already been done with this sock if I really had been faithful to it. So I'd like to say yes, I did. But
okay.
But you know what? Now that I have things written down, maybe I will be more faithful to it.
Okay.
So, but I did put, you know, quite a few inches on
You did.
the sock. I think it was like right about this blue stripe right in here. So I did this many inches
That's
or
great.
stripes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 stripes.
And it would, you know, it's only been 7 days, so I'm really an overachiever now.
Yeah, you
Right?
are. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm really enjoying it actually. So it could be that striped socks is all I do in the future, just because they may have some chance of getting done.
You know, I feel that way with striped socks and pattern socks, because you know, I just want to finish this one more pattern repeat.
Yeah.
Okay, that was so quick. Just one more pattern repeat.
Yeah, and you push yourself to finish the entire repeat of the color, and so it kind of pushes you on when it might be easy to give up.
Right.
So, yeah, I may be all about. I am so wishy-washy. I think by now everyone knows, don't take anything I say literally, because I went from, I don't think I'll ever knit another sock again, to maybe I'll only knit stripy socks from now on and not knit anything else.
That's right.
I don't know.
That's right.
There's just no pinning me down.
How funny.
Okay, so.
Well, I finished something.
Come on.
I started and finished something.
Honestly, I am madly in love with this.
Are you madly in love with it?
I really am.
Madly, darling.
Yes. I really want to wear it is what I want to do.
This is a hand-spun handbrake cowl. And you know the handbrake...
That's handbrake.
Well, okay, it's handbrake without the patterning.
Okay, I was going to say. I could have sworn there was patterning. Can you hold it up so they can see how lovely it is?
I was gifted this pattern by, who?
Well, it's a pattern by the Bakery Bears podcast.
Yes, by Kay Jones.
Do you want a chance to look it up while I chat about it? Because the money is going to fund cancer.
Yes, it was.
Is it research or?
It was. Now it's a free pattern, and which is wonderful.
Did we ever decide whether it was Kay or Dan?
I'm not sure. I think they kind of did it in conjunction with each other. It says it's by K.F. Jones Designs.
Okay.
But this was sent to me by Grammy Knitterbug back in April, so thank you.
It is beautiful. I need to do mine.
You do.
That's a lovely yarn.
What I had was I had hand spun that I wanted to use, but I didn't know really what size needles I wanted to use.
Can you wear it? Oh, that's going to hit your mic.
It's going to hit my mic, yeah. I didn't know like what stitch count, what size needles, and so I just said, you know what, I'm going to find a pattern, and there, lo and behold, in my library was a perfect, lo and behold, yes, verily and say unto thee, there
You're
was
going old English on us.
I am.
This is good.
I found in my library this pattern, and I said, well, that's perfect because I don't necessarily need the patterning, because the pattern, let me find.
Can we clarify if you're speaking English or not? Because so far it's not registering.
This is English.
Okay, thank you.
Can
I have subtitles?
Yeah.
Pushing subtitles now.
Yes. Hola. Okay. Oh, I'm just kidding. You pushed Espanol.
Oh, no. Okay, so what are you trying to say?
I didn't want to do the texture pattern on here because I knew that this is a thick and thin singles yarn, and I didn't want to obscure the texture of the yarn by having a textured pattern.
It probably wouldn't have shown very well.
It wouldn't have, no.
But it's so gorgeous.
Yes, and it's terribly soft.
Have you gotten close to the camera so they can actually see what you're talking about?
So this is what it looks like.
But you can, I don't know if the texture is coming across as well, but the color is gorgeous. Now, how did you spin that?
On my spinning wheel that my mom gave me.
How did you, when you had the braid of yarn?
Yes.
How did you break apart the braid, or did you break apart the braid?
This is one of my first hand spun skeins. Probably, I'm guessing this is probably the third thing that I spun.
Is it?
And let's see, I probably broke it into about 8 different long lengths, and that looks beautiful on you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, very nice.
Look over there.
No, I'm not going to. I know what you're going to do.
I'm not taking it off, you know.
You know, you have, you're connected to a mic, so you only get so far.
That's true. I'm probably making terrible mic noises. But boy, does that feel fantastic.
Yes.
So I've got to do it. I mean, that is, getting the length of a cowl is not an easy thing. When you're writing a pattern, it's easy for it to become a tight turtleneck, as we saw from last week.
Yes.
Or for it to become too drapey, and if it's not drapey enough to do twice around your neck, then you've got just kind of this odd looking thing. So that is like cowl perfection.
It really is. And I would like to make another one using actually the textured stitch that that Kay and Dan used in the design. This yarn was made from Malabrigo Nube in the Persia colorway. If you're interested in purchasing some, I bought it from the Loopy U, and which is theloopyu.com. That was very easy to remember. And I just think it's so soft and squishy and lovely. And I'm really going to get a lot of use out of this. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, colors are gorgeous.
Yes, I agree.
Good job.
Thank you. All right. So that kind of wraps up, you know, what we've accomplished in the last week. I do have some gilding of the lily, though.
I would love to have you show it.
Okay. So,
should we wish them a Merry Christmas first?
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Did you know that it's Christmas again? Mom was looking for a Christmas gift for me, and so I was very happy to give her several ideas, because I pretty much always have an idea of something that you can give me. So in case you're ever wondering, what should I get Brianne? Just ask me and I'm happy to tell you. So this is a kit that was a collaboration between Whimsy Stitches, who made the bag, and Dana of Unwind, who made this beautiful skein of yarn. And so let me show the bag up close first. This is the Mariposa kit.
So pretty. And there's just something about the grays and the pinks together.
Yes.
It's really showing strongly in that, I don't know if that would be magenta maybe, but there is the lighter pinks also, and then the really pretty greens.
Yes, there's just a beautiful combination of colors. This is on her Journey sock, which is an 80% merino, a superwash merino wool and 20% nylon. And this is by Dana of Unwind. And I have been on a Dana of Unwind kick here lately. Unwind Yarn Company. I love her dyeing. I love her yarn. I love her yarn bases.
You love her podcast.
I love her podcast, which is Just One More Row that she and Brittany host together. I pretty much love Dana. And
is she your best friend?
She doesn't know it, but she is.
Yeah, we need to have a word for that. Is there a word for it when you are unbeknownst to the person who is the object of your friendery?
I think it's called a stalker.
Oh no! Oops.
It also came with. Am I right though?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. These beautiful 2 stitch markers that are just very simple and elegant. It's just 2 crystals, one pink and one clear, on a lobster clasp, and which I think will be great for keeping track of where I am and how much progress I've made. I don't have very many of these types of stitch markers, the lobster clasp ones, and I like how dainty that is. I'm not a really big fan of really massive stitch markers because I feel like they weigh my knitting down.
Well, you're not a fan of like massive much of anything. Me, lay it on, baby. The bigger the better. I've got 2 dinner plates as earrings. And, over the top everything.
That's right. And then I had to get some soak wool wash in the Celebration colorway from Knit Picks, and so I needed to get
colorway.
No, Celebration scent.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, that was my bad. So I wanted to get the free shipping because it's Knit Picks and I could spend a lot of money at Knit Picks. But I got a needle keeper.
Oh, yay.
Have you seen these?
Not in person. I saw Amy Beth on Fat Squirrel.
Yes.
Has them, and she seems to like them quite a lot.
Yes.
And so what are you hoping to use it on?
Well, you will find out. One of my goals is to knit a sweater this year. And so I'm hoping to...
Are you knitting them on lace needles or something?
No, but this is...
What size needles does that fit?
Up to 2 US size 9 needles.
Okay. Well, 9s, yeah.
Yeah.
That would work then.
Yes.
I was just picturing like this kind of needle.
Oh, well, you can do it on that too.
A sweater? No, I can't.
Well, but you have to feel how light this is.
Oh, yeah. Now that's surprising.
Isn't it?
And the concept is you're just sticking your needles through the black topper that's kind of rubbery, and there's a hole there. And it kind of sucks on and grabs to your needles so that they stay inside there and you don't lose your stitches, right?
Exactly. And Kat Bordy says, it's about time.
Well,
and
if
you know
Kat
what?
says it.
She says, author, teacher, and knitting rock star.
Huh? I'm so goofy today.
You really
She's
are.
An otter.
She's an otter.
I all of a sudden pictured in my head Kat Bordy going, oh.
You're thinking of like a seal or something.
Well,
otters are the adorable things that float on their backs,
okay.
and like hold on to each other while they're floating so they don't lose their mate.
Okay. Well, that's great.
That's completely different.
Completely different.
Seals are big and make that sound. I'm not doing that.
So hoping to lure you in.
Yeah. But okay. I got one for you.
You did?
I did.
And you know how handy that will be. I am constantly losing my stitches off of things.
Yes. So I thought...
I am so excited. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yay. And honestly, I have eyed these many times, but just have never pushed the purchase button.
Yes.
So yay.
Yeah.
Well, we will be letting you know how we like these.
Review coming up.
That's right.
And then I think, I had to show you, if you are around a Target, which we happen to have one in our area, there's, the one Target. Some cities are blessed to have more than one. We have the Target. They have a lot of really fun stuff in their dollar area, in their, like the stuff is like $1 to $3 range area right now. I found a ton of things that were just adorable. I got a couple little pillows for Valentine's Day that were $3.
Wow.
And for $3, even if they just last me this 1 year, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's a deal. But look at this.
It's not fun.
This was $3. I'm sure that you could probably make it, as well. But for $3, how adorable is that?
Yeah. Super cute. And what a great idea.
I could probably take this off.
Even if you don't live by a Target then, you could even use a fiberboard of some sort, like,
of course,
and paint it, and just put your little piece of rope along and your triangles and make your own sign.
Absolutely. So that was $3. Completely worth it. I'm going to hang it up by my yarn because my yarn area is really just more functional than anything. It's not cute. It's not adorable. It's a little tiny part of an itty bitty walk-in closet. And so I have decided to, make that creative space
Good idea.
my own, even just for a little bit.
This would actually make a fun idea for a cover to a journal. Just writing the word create and then using a length of yarn and the triangles to create your banner.
Yeah.
And that would be really a very simple but fun cover.
Yes. And just for those of you who are concerned, it is California compliant for formaldehyde.
That's also nice to know. And should we not also eat it? And
yeah,
they always have such, don't poke yourself in the eye with it.
Right.
They always put so many warnings on these things.
Absolutely. Well, that's it. That's all I have.
Awesome.
They have all kinds of things there right now for planners. They had stamps. They had baker's twine and all kinds of adorableness.
I almost have to close my eyes because I could spend $52 in cute little dollar stuff there.
Right?
Yeah. I have a little bit of a problem with that area because I find all those things so adorable.
Yes. Okay, well, let's talk about Project Craft.
Project Craft. Okay. So this particular podcast, though I said we'd be choosing winners every podcast, I'm not going to do it this podcast because this is really I'm considering it
like introduction part 2.
Right, introduction part 2, the things that we couldn't get in the first podcast because it was 52 hours long. So what I wanted to do was walk through some of the things that we've done and in terms of a journal that I use for my personal life, and then the Project Craft journal. And then we are going to, at the end, break, and Brianne and I are going to be recording the rest of the tutorials about how to finish your Project Craft journal. These are just ideas. So certainly, we already had, do you remember her name? Can you look it up really quick? We have had somebody, if you have not gotten over to the thread for Project Craft, there's already inspiration over there.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And I'm going to be posting pictures of my own, even though I'm not up for the prize. But I thought maybe if someone hasn't seen the podcast but just goes to the thread, they could at least get an idea. But we had one of our members who has done an amazing job.
I was Swagco.
Oh yes, Swagco.
Which she won the prize.
She did.
Yes.
And I've actually got a message at Swagco. I've got a message in to Unraveled You, and we'll be getting to you shortly about getting you connected with your crochet hook. But she has done so many cool things in her journal. So I'm not going to elaborate on her ideas because they are fabulous and you can see them for yourself.
Absolutely.
But what I wanted to do was to go through in a little bit more detail. First of all, I wanted to share that my foray, obviously, my foray into journaling began last year, and not so much in trying to be document my crafting, but more kind of a journey. It was a journey of finding that marriage between the arts and writing and kind of documenting my life. That's kind of where it started.
Yes.
And each time I finished the journal that I started last year, and it's up on my mantle and ready to be reviewed, but it was so fun looking back on it.
Yeah.
But I made a new one for this year.
Oh, that's cute.
And this one is, it says hopeful on the front. The little child with the butterfly wings cracks me up. So adorable. And I got that from a vendor on Etsy. I'll post a link. Brianne, if you could make a note to me that I post a link to that in case someone wants to know. You can find all sorts of fun digital arts on Etsy where they allow you to download it and you print off a page. There was probably 12 different cute little babies that were made into these creatures on this download. Usually they're around like $4 or less, and you get a whole bunch of them. You can use them, print them as many times as you want. But if you wanted to have a theme of angel babies, you could put one of these on each page if you wanted to. It'd be really a fun thing, and write your title next to it. But I sewed the journal together.
Amazing.
I follow. There's a lot of different tutorials on the internet on I think it's called the Copic stitch.
Okay.
But it allows things to expand a little bit more, and it's just kind of I enjoy it. I enjoy that kind of exposed spine thing, and it really gives you the ability for your journal to expand based on what you glue in it. I added a button, one of my vintage buttons, to the cover. I also added some lace. So some of you enjoy, we have people who love sewing and quilting.
Absolutely.
And so you could certainly cover your journal with fabric or use lace trims, things that you have, maybe pieces of clothing that you've made for your children.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I have got the habit of putting a library card holder in my journals. And the reason I do that is I start it like here. Let's see if you can read it. There we go. The first entry was made in this journal while watching the Rose Parade on January 1st. And then when I finish it, I'll put when I finished it, and in between the beginning and the finishing of it, I'll put an idea about what's in there. And so you can pull out this card and get an idea about what the journal is about.
Yeah.
I like to use little bits of things I've pulled out of books. Anne of Green Gables has been my favorite lately. I give happy thanks. I pull from all different kinds of books. Brianne gifted me some old devotional books that she had, and we got some from a library sale. I also put in, this is a leaf that Evan picked for me, sandwiched it in some, I have no idea if it's going to last or not. I sandwiched it with some plastic, just an old, what are they called? Page protectors.
Yeah.
But, and this is just an idea of, I had a lot of writing and I hadn't allowed a spot for it. I had my January 1st page here, and I had some more writing I wanted to do about what I had thoughts for the new year. And so I just wrote it on other paper and I washi taped it in place. That's the nice thing about this kind of a binding. It allows you to add things as you go. I like to have things all over the place. So surprising. Brianne's all about keeping it simple. I'm all about adding stuff.
That's right.
And so I've got here a piece of paper with a decorative banner cut out of it, and it's got a scripture on it that I love, and it's marking the place of January 1st. And then what I wanted to share was the concept that I'm using for my journals. So what I'm doing, I didn't want a regimented journal. What a shock, because I am just all over the place. So I'm using my personal journal. I do my week out like this, and I started a chart of things that I want to try and get done on a daily basis. I'm checking off as I go. Sometimes I'm okay and sometimes I'm not. And on the other page is the things that I had goals I was trying to set weekly, monthly, and yearly. I toned those way back because I don't think I'm going to be able to get them done.
Run a marathon.
Right.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
Just we're going to say that right now.
Rewrite the Magna Carta, all sorts of things. But so this is the week, and I have a little tab up here. That's just a cute little circle with a coffee pot on it. And after I write out my week, the rest is just open for whatever I feel like doing on a daily basis or not doing.
Yeah.
And so on this day, I felt like drawing, and then on Monday, I decided to write a little bit. And sometimes I write something I'm studying. Sometimes I write something that happened. It's just whatever I feel like. I didn't write again until Wednesday, and I felt like doing a little bit more art. And then we've got Saturday with a little bit more. And then it's already on to the next week. So I am not committed to doing something every day because it would not happen.
Yeah.
I'm just not that kind of a person.
Okay.
And so what I'm trying to do is open up the idea that journaling or planner keeping or art, craft life, art life, all of these things, you're the boss. And you can decide what works for you. And so that is really the point of showing you this, is that whatever you decide to do, and when I bound the book, I had these little tails, and I'd seen another crafter. I interrupt myself all the time. That's just what I do. And she had left the tags down and put little hearts on them. So I took little bits of ephemera. So this is a postcard. And on this one, this little string, I put a bead and some ribbon. And so it just hangs out the bottom. Look, all this makes me so happy. Brianne, she'd take scissors and snip it off. But I'm all about the stuff. I even have little bits of ribbon that I glued to a page here. And instead of cutting it off so it only is on that page, I left it hanging down because, hey, I liked it.
There you go.
But the whole idea of me showing you my personal journal is because I want everyone to participate in some way. If you don't like the way this has been presented, try some other way.
There's no right or wrong way to do it.
This is very loose, but it's an exercise in documenting your creative side. Okay?
Yes.
So last week we had a challenge was to make our journal, right? Yes. And to do the first challenge that we had drawn, we're doing ours with a random number generator. If you are just new to the game, if you go to knitworthypodcast.com, there is a page that's all about Project Craft, which is documenting our crafting life. And you can download the prompts and post in the group on the thread. Picture post gets you a larger entry. You can win a bigger prize. But just be conversational if you like. Even if you don't journal, go in there and encourage people.
Right.
And you can still win a prize possibly if your post number is drawn.
Sure.
So last week we covered our journal with paper. This week I added a vintage picture from a Home Arts magazine, which I find hilarious. She's getting a perm and she's knitting, and it's like that electrified thing that's just outrageous. And this is actually a scan I took from I have this magazine. I love it. I started collecting the Home Arts Needlecraft books. We covered the inside, so I added my traditional library card here that will say when I started. And I put this is just a little piece of artwork I did I think they're called twin sheets. They're just a square that you decorate, and it says, isn't that something to be proud of? And these are all things I'm going to be proud of by the end of the year, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. This week for you, I created a title. What do we call these? Like a dedication page, maybe? And I colored mine. Yours will be uncolored, so you can choose to leave it black and white, or you can color it. And it's a place to put the year and your name and a little something else if you want to. And so that's starting it. Okay.
And could they put that on this page if they wanted to?
Of course. Anywhere. They could glue it on paper.
What about the front? Could they do it on the front?
They sure could.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just added mine with washi tape because I'd already started putting this envelope on there, and I decided I wanted a dedication page, and so I fortified it with a little bit of packing tape just to make it a little more substantial. And so that's there for you as a free download on Knitworthy Podcast.
Wonderful.
And in our tutorial, we're going to go through how I did these things. And so if you want to learn more about it, but if you are a crafty person and all you need is the idea, go to the website, download and print, and you're all set. So on the other side of my title page, I decided I wanted photos. So this is how I looked when I was doing this. Don't you ever wonder sometimes, what did I look like when I was, like you find an old drawing from when you were in 3rd grade or something, what would I look like? So I did that, and then I did a picture of Brianne and I, since we're podcasting together, and this is about us. I made this little envelope flap, and I titled Bits and Bobs. It's where I'm going to put little things that I want to put in my journal. In the tutorial, you're going to learn how I made this little envelope page. And their download for the envelope flap template is on the website. This is really where I spent my time this week, was in getting you some things that are to get you started.
Yeah.
Okay, and then here is my challenge number 1. And I created these title banners. Now, not the pattern paper, I added that. But this part here with the little heart and the lines that you can write what you are doing on this page, that is a download also. I just happened to put my leftover scraps of paper that I asked you to keep when we did our tutorial about covering the book. And so I used the little leftover pieces to line the back, but you can just glue them on the page as they are. The tutorial is also going to include how to decorate your book with circles. And who can't make a circle? Most children even.
I can make a circle.
You can make a circle.
Most of the
I'm
time.
going to have so many fun things that you can do with a circle. So make sure if you're looking for inspiration that you check out the tutorials, because you're going to learn how easy it is to do some fun artsy stuff. If you haven't done the artsy thing, it's a very simple way to use circles to decorate. Okay, so why don't we, as long as we're here, why don't we chat about what were our goals? Challenge number 1 was goal keeping.
Yes.
Now this is what my page looks like. Brianne, show what your page looks like. Okay, there's no right or wrong.
Nope.
Okay, that page of Brianne's makes me very happy. Her writing is so gorgeous.
No, it's not, but thank you.
And I love mine because, it's got color all over it. So what I'm doing, I'm washi taping my 2 pages together.
I did that. I finished that yesterday.
And I prefer just to keep all of my titles on one side. So each challenge is going to start here, and if it runs over, it's going to go here. But the idea is I'd like to try and keep my writing on this side and maybe photos and bits and bobs over here.
Yeah.
But it's up to me because it's my journal.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Brianne,
Yes.
challenge number 1 was goals. What goals do you have?
Number 1, knit 12 pairs of socks this year using only stash yarn.
Okay.
Do not purchase any more sock yarn this year.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's a hard one.
Yeah.
It's so easy just to pick up one skein of yarn.
It's
It's
so
of sock
small.
yarn.
You can almost stuff it in your pocket.
You don't do that.
No.
No. Number 2, knit a sweater for myself. Number 3, cross stitch 1 Christmas gift.
Good idea.
Number 4, and this was an idea that I got from Diane of Suburban Stitcher. Use up the 8 oldest skeins of yarn in my stash. They leave the stash this year one way or another. And then underneath here, I actually wrote out I found by filtering on my stash, I have all my stash in Ravelry, and I filtered by date added and went to the very bottom, and there were all my oldest skeins. I have skeins from 2005 in there.
Awesome.
10 years old. it's time for them to go and be used. And if I'm not going to use them, then they need to be someplace else.
I heard someone talking about their scrapbooking stash that way and said there's always going to be more paper.
Right.
And so instead of hoarding it and looking at it and loving it, but never doing anything with it, let's just use it and then enjoy the hunt for the next thing.
Right.
And
I think that's great.
Yeah, I think that's a fun thought.
Yeah. And then my last one is to learn how to do color work so I can knit the gorgeous Norwegian mittens. Backtracking just a tiny bit, I'm going to show Mom. I went through my stash and pulled out every single skein of those 8 yarns.
Oh, they're so gorgeous.
That I need to knit. So the
gorgeous.
first one, the oldest one, is this skein of black Cascade 220. And then the most recent one, which is not most recent, is these 2 skeins of Happy Feet in this beautiful kind of bluish green color.
Very pretty.
So I have everything from Lion Brand to Alpaca with a Twist to Malabrigo to, I just have quite an assortment of yarns in here. And so this is...
I love it. Can you face the camera?
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. That's the lovelies right there.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Well, that's a good idea. So you separate it out so that it kind of keeps it in the forefront of your mind, too. That's a good idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I thought if I just have it written down, then I'll be thinking, oh yeah, I need to use that. But if I actually pull it out of my stash and I'm looking at it, because I'm planning on keeping it in my podcasting bag since we podcast
Great idea.
fairly regularly, I'm going to be faced with it, because I would like to have more room in my podcast bag.
Yeah. That's going to bug you enough to do it, right?
It is. It really is. So let's talk about what things you have on your goals.
Let's do that. So for my goals, you can see I did a red painted dot to delineate each goal. I decided to make my goals based on the kinds of crafting that I wanted to include in my year. It's very easy to have the whole year be knitting.
Yes.
Just because that's a favorite. But I also want to give some love to some other things that I have in my craft room. And so the first one is to finish my striped socks that I was knitting on today before June.
Yes.
And my theme for that is defeat second sock syndrome.
Oh, good.
Now, as you know, that doesn't sound like a big goal, but I have had at least 2 years, possibly 3 years, where it took me a whole year to finish a pair of socks. And so finishing by June is finishing in half the amount of time it would have taken me.
Right.
And so that's my first goal. And what I decided to do to encourage me to continue was I went ahead and made a page for working on that first goal. And so let's see, get it lined up. So I'm calling it, this is Vanilla Sock. That's what I'm making, and it's my challenge, my goal challenge, the very first one. And so I just put my notes that I would include in Ravelry and hopefully get it in Ravelry. But I thought if I keep it here, I won't forget. And then it's available when I'm ready to sit down and put it in Ravelry. It's all in one spot. And then I stapled the ball band to the page across from it so I can't lose it.
Good idea.
Which I am notorious for losing the ball band. Then I took a picture with my phone right there of where I am right now. Put my little saying here, defeat second sock syndrome. And I just imported that into a Pages program on my phone, which is like a word processing program, and sized it to be smaller. I didn't want to take up a bunch of ink. So I'm just doing most of my pictures in this are going to be about this big. I'd love to get one of those printers that does photos that are small.
Yes.
That's on my list of someday. But down here I've left room for the follow-up. So the finished socks will be here and whatever celebrations I want to put on there. And one thing I wanted to point out was because I like things hanging out of my binder, I decided any challenge that involves yarn is going to get a yarn tab. This is the actual yarn I made it out of, which makes it really easy to find that page in my book.
Right.
So you can imagine, hopefully I'll have lots of fun yarny tabs hanging off of here with the yarn I used, and there'll be more about how to do that. It's not, obviously, it doesn't take a tutorial, but I'm going to include that in one of my tutorials so you can see how I thought that through. So I love that. And you too, when you get ready to start working on your goals, you can include that, and that could, for everybody out there too, even if it's not written as the challenge, if it's fulfilling the challenge, or if it's something you're just challenging yourself with, go ahead and include it in your book. If it's in your book, it counts, right?
Right.
Okay. I didn't write very much, as you can see, so you don't have to do anything fancy. The other thing I wanted to show was, this is more that's going to be on the tutorial for things to do with circles. Now, I know this is not going to be for everybody. I have lots more ideas, but sometimes there are people that look at a blank page and they get totally overwhelmed. Are you like that?
Sometimes I am. It depends on what it is that I have to do with it.
Okay.
Like if you're like, here, paint the Mona Lisa, then I'm like, oh, I can't.
Well, what I've learned from watching 59,000 YouTube videos is that there are quite a lot of people who have that fear of the blank page for art or even for writing. And so what a lot of people are doing now is they are putting something on the page, because once the page has gotten started, then it feels better to just go ahead and write in it. Please don't make it perfect. This is not about being perfect. It's just about enjoying the process. All right?
Okay.
Now, the last things I wanted to share is some of the other things that are going to be in the tutorial that's coming out. One is, do we want a bookmark?
Very cute.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how to add a bookmark. This is actually a two-part bookmark, so you can mark two places. So like, let's say I'm working on my socks, but I also want to mark my next challenge. And what I did was, I have an old rusty key on one with a bead, and then on this one, it's got a little heart. So we're just going to go into, they're so simple. All of these projects can be made in just minutes. Okay, the hardest thing is probably going to be the envelope. But everything that I'm passing along in tutorial form is going to be super simple, because I want it to be fun and not like an ordeal. Okay?
Yes.
The last thing that I'm going to share is that I haven't gotten all the way through my book with washi tape. I believe Brianne has. Brianne, can you show your edges?
Absolutely. Now, I was not able to do just one type of washi tape. That's okay.
Yeah.
I ran out a couple of times.
I did too.
I just tried to find some fun coordinating washi tape, and so I have these ones that have flowers. Oh, I don't think you can see that. There you go. And then this one is gold stripes, and then this one is like an orange and red kind of chevron. And so that's what I did with mine.
Yes, I have 4 going, and I'm not even through my book, because I decided I'm not going to buy more. I'm using up what I have.
Absolutely.
So I have one that's more like a checkerboard. Whoops, I'm showing you an empty page. How about this one? It's more like a checkerboard. And I decided to stick with a theme of florals, but you certainly don't have to do that. I wanted it to have red in it somewhere. Red is my favorite color, so what a shock. Okay, very last thing.
Yes.
And I can't guarantee, there will be more tutorials, but I just want to give you some inspiration. If you're sitting there going, I have this book, what am I going to do? And I want you to get excited about it. Because I think if we get excited about this, we're going to get excited about finishing things to go in this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I know from past experience that putting a lot of things in my book means my book gets thicker. You can already see. It's kind of triangle shaped. I love that.
Yeah.
I want this book to be fat when it's done.
Yeah.
That will make me feel like it's like so satisfying. It's like getting to the end of a pen when you used all the ink, right?
I love that.
It's the best.
That's like my favorite thing.
Yeah. So a fat notebook, it feels like it's an accomplishment. And so in order to have it not just kind of fall open when you have it on a shelf, or if it's in your bag or wherever you put it, it should be out so you can see it. Otherwise, I think if you put it away, for me, it would not get done.
Yeah.
So I have a way of adding elastics. I use buttons on the back. I have 2 ways to add elastics. I'm showing you one now, and on the video tutorial, we're going to show you 2 ways to add an elastic belt, basically, for your book. But I've had this check glass button for so long, many years, and have not known how I wanted to use it. And it actually has the tiniest little opening in back. I mean, it would have to use such small thread to go through the opening. I don't know how the button could ever be used in real life, but I decided to tack it on to this belt elastic that I put on here. And then I added some ribbon and some beads, and it just, okay, can you just feel that? And tell me, does it not just bring you joy to feel the glass and the textures?
And the colors are so pretty and vibrant. It's beautiful.
And when I'm not using it, it stays nicely on the back. Now, if you want to use your book on a desk, you're not going to want to put a big bulky thing on your elastic, but I have other ideas for that. If you think that you're going to be using a desk, I work in my lap, so it's not even an issue. But when I look at this makes me want to open this book and do something in it.
Sure.
So I hope that we have inspired you to look at the tutorials, to think, to grab out beautiful bits and bobs from your own stash. Use your yarn, knit a cover for it. I mean, very simple to knit a traditional book cover like you did when you were in school. You made them out of grocery sacks.
Yeah.
Knit it. Put it on your binder. Can you imagine? It would be so lovely.
Yes. Now, do you happen to have a copy of the all the challenges?
I do.
Do you know where it is?
It's up here.
Okay. Because we need to pick out our new challenge.
Oh, we do.
And so while you do that, I'm going to pull up random number generator. If I can find it on your phone. Oh, there. Here we go.
Thank you for remembering that.
You're welcome. So we're going to go to random.org.
Okay, before we do that,
yes,
let me just show them because this, you're welcome to download it and just look at it on your computers, or you can print it out like I did. But there's on the website, knitworthypodcast.com, the first page is just a brief explanation of how the contest works or the challenge works. And the rest of the pages, there's a total of 10 pages, so 9 pages contain 100 challenge ideas.
How on earth did you come up with those?
I don't know. I was only going to do 30.
I know. And
I do everything to obsession.
You email me, which is, I have 100, by the way. Can you look through these?
Can you proof them? It's just like, okay, 12 years later. And I would say, well, if you do not want to download all this, follow along with us.
Yeah.
Do our goal challenge as your first one, and follow along and do the next one with us if you want to. And you don't have to do one every time we podcast. This is all about what you want to do. If you want to do one challenge a month or one challenge every 2 months,
it is up to you. Yeah. This is really not meant to be a strict kind of thing. And, we wanted to have the fun of having challenges, but with a lot of variety and being able to exercise your creativeness in a lot of different ways. And so that's why, there's a lot of leniency.
Yes.
Right.
And I love it when people take an idea and run with it.
Yeah.
That is so inspiring to me.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you're going to hurt my feelings. If you change something up, go for it. I get so excited when I see that.
We had someone who asked if it's okay if they use a 3-ring binder. Yes, of course. Please do use whatever you happen to have on hand, or, go and find something that makes you happy. If you'd like to use, a spiral bound journal, feel free. If you'd like to use a 3-ring binder, feel free. This is not...
They could just staple a few papers together. Start
Absolutely.
there and just see if you like it. That way you haven't spent any money,
Yeah. Yeah. So this is really meant to be a freeing exercise, not anything that makes you feel like you're in bondage to project craft.
It should just really get your creative inspiration going and just get you excited. And at the end, you're going to have such a fun document that shows your crafting life this year and how you've grown and what you've accomplished. I think it's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
I'm really liking it.
All right. Would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Well, I think we're going to do the same challenge, or are we going to do different ones?
I don't know.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that,
We
did we?
didn't talk about it.
I don't know. You decide this time.
Okay, so since we did the same one for this time, now we're going to choose separate challenges. Okay, so I'm going to go first. So it's random.org. I don't think you can see that. And it's between 1 and 100. I got number 94.
Okay, 94. Ooh, okay. This is a writing one. If you were to meet a crafter you admire from afar, plan what you would do for the day.
Okay.
So this is anybody in the crafting or artistic world that you have not met, that you would like to meet. How would you spend the day? You're going to tell who it is. I would print out a picture of their face.
Oh, yeah.
And a little bit about them and what you would do and why. Right?
Yes, that's a good one.
I'm really curious to see who you'd pick.
Me too.
Right?
There's so many people to choose from.
I know.
Dana Von Wines. A little stalkerish, sorry. Just ignore me.
She's totally going to block you.
I know.
All right, what's mine then?
Okay, you ready? So here we go. I'm going to generate again. You got number 30.
Okay. Number 30. Okay. Create an heirloom. Is there a little something you would like to craft for your family or friends to keep as a sweet memory of you and the things that you hold dear? And I gave some ideas: a pot holder, a poem, a cross stitch, a quilt, a baby hat, or something else. Write out what you would like to do.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So you don't necessarily have to do it, but make a plan of something that's like an heirloom that you'd like to make for somebody else. Oh, that's going to be fun.
That is going to be fun.
That's going to be another 100 things.
Yes, exactly. And then I'm going to get that list of 100 things that I'll have to keep.
We're going to have to buy more books. It's going to be, this is challenge 1.
That's right. Oh, gosh.
Yes, I take everything to excess. So I am number
30.
Maybe I should write these down, shouldn't I?
I'll write it down right here.
Okay. All right, so number 30. What's the date today?
The 15th.
15th. All right, and you got
94.
Okay. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what everyone decides to do.
Yes.
And what they get. So, and if you play along and you decide you don't like the ones that we've drawn, just change. There's no laws here.
No big deal.
Yeah. So
you're not going to hurt our feelings. No.
It would hurt my feelings if you didn't do what you wanted to do. So change it and make it whatever sounds good. You could do it on your phone.
Yeah. And you know what? If you don't want a random number generator to decide which one you do, then just look through.
Yeah.
And say, oh, number 15 really interests me.
Yeah.
And so do it that way. Easy.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it.
I know.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We had a lot of fun, and Mom finally pulled herself together. I'm really proud of her for doing that. You're so grown up.
Thanks.
Yeah. And I promise next time not to get my words mixed up.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Make no promises. So anyways, thank you so much for joining us. If this was your first time, welcome.
Yes.
Join us with Project Craft. We're really excited about it. If you are a returning viewer, we're so glad that you joined us today again. And we here in our home, and we can't wait to see you again next time.
Yes.
So until then, we want you to remember that you are knitworthy. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
All
That
right.
was fun.
Here we go.